Hi, I'm Natasha Buldeo and welcome to this well-being webinar. Today we're discussing creativity and we're looking at three ways to develop our creative ability. Now, when we hear the word creativity, we most commonly think of great works of art, inventions, or scientific breakthroughs. However, creativity is defined as the ability to transcend traditional ways of thinking or acting and to develop new and original ideas, methods, or objects. Now, this definition suggests that ideas do not have to be grand or world-changing to be creative. You see, life throws us into unique situations and challenges regularly. And without even realizing it, most of us are engaged in some form of creative thinking almost daily. However, what has caused us to limit our ideas about creativity is that in the past, research into creativity has looked at the personal or subjective experiences of creative people. And because of their individual preferences, it often seemed that creativity was limited to a select few, or that creativity was associated with mental illness, eccentricity, or my personal bias, which was influenced by my favorite opera, Puccini's La Bohème, where I romanticized the struggling artist. However, more recent neuroscience research gives us an objective measure of creative thinking. And what brain scans show is that creativity involves making new connections between different parts of your brain. Now, while it's true that some people are more creative than others, and with many creative individuals, the different parts of their brains seem to be better wired to each other. What this research also suggests is that every one of us can train ourselves to be more creative. However, before I share the tips on how to train yourself to be more creative, let's talk about why we need to develop the skill. See, we all know that creative thinking can lead to innovation, world-changing ideas, or great works of art. And any one of us can come up with the next great idea. However, a Harvard Business Review article claimed that creativity is the number one trait for business success, and that creative people earn 17% more than people who don't claim to be creative. So creativity is also important financially. Another important thing for us to consider is with the development of artificial intelligence, where most logical algorithms can now be programmed into artificial intelligence, and they will be able to review and analyze this data much faster than us humans. One of our surviving human strengths is going to be our creativity. But possibly more important than the above reasons for creativity is that creative thinking can be used to help us confront difficult emotions or challenges in life. You see, if we learn to think creatively, we find new ways to solve our everyday problems. And in doing this, life becomes easier and way more fun. It is therefore in our best interest to develop our creativity regardless of our age or job. So let's look at how we can develop our creativity. Now, we have already established that creativity involves developing connections between different parts of our brain. And even though All parts of our brain are involved in creative thinking. There are three main neural networks that underlie creativity. There are three main nerve pathways within the brain that allow us to be creative. And if we learn how to engage these three networks, then we start thinking more creatively. Now, these networks are: number one, the executive attention network, which allows you to pay attention or focus. Number two is the salience network. This allows you to make connections between your memories, which may sometimes be unconscious, and the world around you. And it can often help you understand the world around you and allows you to spot new patterns in the data or the environment around you. And the third network is the imagination network, which allows you to imagine alternative solutions and to put yourself into someone else's shoes so that you can imagine things from their point of view. Now, in order to activate your attention network, the network that enables you to pay attention and develop focus, you need to find personal meaning. You need to know what's important to you, and you need to want to express your magic or your truth. You see, we automatically engage our attentional network when we're exposed to things that are important to us. We discussed the 2 ways to live the life you want in our last webinar. And when we live the life we want, we are automatically attentive and engaged. The second network is the salience network, which enables you to access your unconscious memories. You see, the unconscious holds a vast reservoir of information that you may have been exposed to, but may have not yet processed consciously. Now, having access to this unconscious information helps us spot new patterns and find novel relationships between very different things. Now, synchronicity or meaningful coincidence is one way to activate the salience network. To learn how to use this technique, please watch the synchronicity webinar. The third network is your imagination network. Now, in order to engage the imagination network, you need to learn to let go of your ego. You know, kids have such active imaginations, and this is partially because their egos have not yet fully developed. You see, our egos, while they help us interact in the world, if we hold onto them too strongly, they actually limit us. You see, a strong ego can prevent you from imagining things from another person's point of view. But in order to be creative and use our imaginations more effectively, we really need to learn to let go of this ego. And we will discuss this a little later. However, if you want to understand more about the ego, then I do suggest you go to the ego webinar. So in summary, there are 3 ways to develop your creativity. Number 1, find personal meaning and want to express yourself fully. Number 2, use techniques like synchronicity to unlock your unconscious, or take time to explore techniques that will enable you to unlock your unconscious. And number 3, learn how to let go of your ego and your personal limitations. Now, this gets me to the creativity conundrum. You see, to express yourself more fully, more creatively, you need to let go of your ego. You see, our egos are made up of who we think we are and how we want others to see us. It's a very conscious process. However, if we hold on too tightly to who we think we are, how we want to be seen, and how we view the world, then we limit our brain's ability to make new connections and we limit our creativity. In many of my previous webinars, both my guests and I have alluded to the fact that creativity, mystical or spiritual experience, peak performance, being in the zone, or being in flow are all the same thing. It's about being in an egoless, hyper-focused state in which you lose all sense of time. This is the state that enables record-breaking athletes to perform at their best. It enables scientists to make breakthroughs and artists to create. And this state comes from letting go of the things that limit us. So in our next webinar, which will be the last of 2020, we will be talking about letting go. Thank you for joining me on this well-being journey. If you like this webinar, please hit the button. And if you want to keep up to date with past and future webinars, then please do subscribe to this channel. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.